Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CTVETriLS'22. We will begin the keynote session at 8:45 a.m. And this session is also being live in our very own Facebook page, PSP's Facebook page, as well as in our YouTube channel, in our official YouTube channel. So sit tight and we will begin at 8:45 a.m. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Testing. Ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, students especially, there is an information for all of you. Please keep an eye on the chat section. This is where the organizer will post a link for attendance as well as for certificate of participation. So please keep an eye on the chat section. Thank you.
Thank you to
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the keynote session of TVET Research and Innovation on Logistics and Social Sciences Conference, CTVETriLS'22. My name is Gayatri Kandaya, your MC this morning. Before we proceed any further, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Ustaz Muhammad Najwa bin Muhammad Hasbullah to recite the doa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalalika wajhikal karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad salatan tunjina biha min jami'il ahwali wal afat wa taqdi lana biha jami'al hajat wa tutahhiruna biha min jami'is sayyiat wa tarfa'una biha indaka a'lad darajat wa tuballighuna biha aqsal ghayati min jami'il khairati fil hayati wa ba'dal mamat wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Rahmanu Ya Rahim, sesungguhnya Engkaulah Tuhan yang memiliki kuasa pemerintahan dan Engkau jualah yang memuliakan sesiapa yang dikehendaki. Kami bersyukur kehadrat-Mu ya Allah di atas limpah kurnia, inayah dan riayah, taufik dan hidayah. Kami dapat bersua secara atas talian pada hari yang mulia ini sempena Conference on TVET Research and Innovation in Logistics and Social Science 2022. Kami merafakkan kesyukuran dan pujian terhadap-Mu di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai ini. Dengan penuh pengharapan, kami memohon keredaan-Mu dan keberkatan dari-Mu, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Hakimu, Ya Halim, berkatilah pertemuan kami ini. Berkatilah jua usaha-usaha kami. Ilhamkanlah dalam fikiran dan minda kami idea-idea yang bernas, pandangan-pandangan yang jelas dan keputusan-keputusan yang waras. Kurniakanlah kepada kami limpahan ilmu yang berguna dan kefahaman yang benar. Satukanlah hati-hati kami. Eratkanlah silaturahim dalam kalangan kami. Padukanlah tenaga dan usaha kami untuk memartabatkan pendidikan bangsa secara bersama demi mencapai kecemerlangan dan kegemilangan. Ya Allah, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, bukakanlah hati-hati kami, lapangkanlah dada-dada kami, supaya kami dapat mengisi ilmu dan pengetahuan yang berguna untuk agama, bangsa dan negara. Kami memohon kepadamu, Ya Allah, agar Engkau berkatilah majlis ini dengan limpahan rahmat-Mu. Semoga segala usaha kami dalam menjayakan majlis ini mendapat keredaan dan hidayah-Mu. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarraqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'na wa la man yatba'una syaqiyyan wa la matrudan wa la mahruma. Ya Allah, wahai Tuhan kami, Jadikanlah perhimpunan kami ini sebagai perhimpunan yang Engkau rahmati, dan perpisahan kami selepas ini sebagai perpisahan yang terpelihara daripada sebarang bala bencana dan kemaksiatan. Allahumma ghfir lana zunubana wa li ikhwanina allazina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillan lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka raufur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin.
Thank you, Ustaz. Surveyor Haris Fazila bin Abdul Khalid, Director of Seberang Perai Polytechnic, Yang Berbahagia Dato Sri Dr. Michael Teo, Group Chief Executive and Managing Director of PKT Logistics Group Sendirian Berhad, Yang Berusaha Technologies Dr. Amy Azura binti A.Jalil, Senior Lecturer from School of Technology Management and Logistics at Universiti Utara Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Technologies, Dr. Zul Hadi bin Zakaria, Deputy Director Academic of Seberang Perai Polytechnic, Yang Berusaha Mr. Mazlan Cik Mustafa, Deputy Director Academic Support of Seberang Perai Polytechnic, Yang Berusaha Dr. Salmi binti Cik Mi, CTVETriLS'22 Program Director, our expert judging panels, Yang Berusaha Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Nazir bin Zabid from Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Yang Berusaha Dr. Fariza binti Ahmad Mahyadin alias Mahidin from Universiti Utara Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Dr. Muhammad Baharudin bin Abdul Rahman from Universiti Sains Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Dr. Rositah binti Selamat from Tuanku Sultanah Baia Polytechnic, Yang Berusaha Dr. Muhammad Fahmi bin Saiman from Seberang Perai Polytechnic, Heads of Department, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning once again on behalf of the organizer, Innovation and Research Unit and Center of Technology of Seberang Perai Polytechnic and Research and Innovation Center of Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your virtual presence and participation in 2022 Conference on TVET Research and Innovation on Logistics and Social Sciences. The theme of the conference, Linking Academia and Industries in Shaping the Landscape of Logistics and Supply Chain Management towards the Fourth Industrial Revolution, is aptly chosen as the conference will provide and hope an exceptional value for students, academics, and industry researchers. CTVETriLS'22 aims to bring together leading academics and researchers to exchange and share their experiences and research results on all aspects of logistics and supply chain management. It also provides a premier interdisciplinary platform for researchers, practitioners, and educators to present and discuss the most recent innovations, trends, and concerns, as well as practical challenges encountered and solutions adopted in the fields of logistics and supply chain management. Ladies and gentlemen, we also thought this couldn't be a more fitting way to begin the conference with these two incredible speakers whom have broken barriers, built community in extraordinary ways, and across borders, as many of you know. I would say it is difficult to sum up the first speaker's achievements in a couple of minutes that I have, but I'll try. He is an inspiration, and if one takes a closer look at the alchemy of the achieving person, two distinct virtues arise, besides perseverance and hard work. These are pioneering spirit and willingness. And our keynote speaker is the living idiom who happened to be born at the right time and at the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, Dato Sri Dr. Michael Teo is the Group Chief Executive and Managing Director of PKT Logistics Group, is a true entrepreneurial icon of Malaysia. While pursuing his tertiary education in the UK, he founded and ran a tremendously successful business that exported luxury pre-owned vehicles. His philosophy of dream of it, talk about it, plan for it, work on it, and get it. He took on the leading role to grow the company with vision of becoming the leading logistics player in providing customized, integrated, total logistics solutions in the ASEAN region. With this great success and immense contribution to the logistics industry, he was appointed as an adjunct professor at University Utara Malaysia. He was also selected as one of the top CEOs under the CEO Faculty Program by Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education and the Ministry of Education. And Dato Sri was conferred the Honorary Doctor of Philosophy in Logistics Management by University Utara Malaysia. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dato Sri Dr. Michael Teo.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I just returned from Penang. I think yesterday I chaired the Industry Advisory Council meeting for Polytechnic Seberang Perai. So it was goodbye and hello again for Pengarah Hadrid and the rest of the team from PSP. So I'm very thankful for inviting me here. One of the credential that did not mention by the MC was that I am currently the champion for the Logistics Productivity Nexus under MPC. Therefore, I have a very good overall view of what is happening in the logistics industry in Malaysia as a whole. So today, I was given the task to share to you with a hope to inspire you not only to study logistics subject, but also to work in the logistics industry because there is a very bright future in the logistics industry. Can somebody please help me to share out the slide? Or am I allowed to share slide now? Okay, all right. Please see, hold on a sec. Okay, right. I can't find which one, which is my slide.
One you just open?
There.
Yes.
Can they see now?
Not yet. Open Webex again. Chrome tab. No, and wait, Windows. Go Windows. Entire screen. So,
hold on a second. Or the entire screen?
Okay. So can you go back to
Here in the PowerPoint.
this one?
Can you all see the slide? MC.
Yes, Dato Sri. Yes, we can see your slide.
Presenter view. Do you have presenter view or you just only have the slide?
We could see what's being shared exactly on your screen. That means the presenter view as well.
Okay, just use this one.
Sorry, this one. Yes.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay, all right. So now, okay, in order for us to be looking at moving into what is going to happen as a broader point of view, broader picture is the whole region here under ASEAN. Singapore has always been the transshipment hub. Everybody knows that Singapore do not have natural resources. Therefore, Singapore has been depending on trading, import and export for ages. So, and because of that, naturally, then the ship will have to call Singapore, and after that, then they will transship the cargo to other place within this region. So over the years, this Singapore has grown and they become a giant and one of the biggest economy in Southeast Asian nation. Of course, the cost of living has become very expensive, and therefore there is a movement of goods leaving Singapore coming over to Malaysia. So we have also observed that there is a lot of logistics property guys leaving Singapore are actually coming to Malaysia to build millions of square feet of warehouses to become the next distribution hub for Malaysia. So this is talking about the race to become the next ASEAN logistics hub. I just give you a big picture here so that you know what is going on. So talking about the major port in Malaysia, here we have to compare between the biggest one will be Port of Singapore with 37 million TEUs or round up 38 million TEUs. That's a lot of containers. TEUs means equivalent to 120-footer of container, right? So then number 2 is Port Klang with 12.3 million TEUs. Number 3 is Tanjung Pelepas with 12 million TEUs. Number 4 will be Lam Chabang, Thailand with 8 million TEUs. And number 5 will be 7.6 million TEUs from Tanjung Priok, Indonesia side. So if you combine the two ports in Malaysia, Port Klang and Port of Tanjung Pelepas, combined we have 24 million TEUs. So basically we are ranked number 2 in ASEAN after Singapore as the number of container that transship through our port. Okay, but however, we have an issue here under the Logistics Performance Index. Okay, they call it LPI, conducted by the World Bank. It showed that the Malaysian Logistics Performance Index, we are ranked number 41, even below Vietnam and Thailand. Do not need to say that we are below Singapore. Singapore is number 7 in the world, Malaysia in the 41, and then 46 is Indonesia. So I have just put in some of the markers here. In the red, the top performance according to the country here. In terms of custom clearance, we do not need to compare with Singapore because Singapore beat all of us in every one of the factors of indicators of the Logistics Performance Index. But Thailand's number 36 for custom clearance. Malaysia ranked number 43, just before Indonesia. Of course, Indonesia is 62 in the world. Then in terms of infrastructure, we can feel that compared to Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia definitely is better than every one of them. But Thailand is improving their infrastructure. That is where people who go to Bangkok and Jakarta always feel the same. The traffic jam is bad. It can take hours to get from one place to another place within 1 kilometer. All right. So whereas Malaysia, we are number 40 because we have a very good infrastructure, very nice highway, very good connectivity for us. International shipments means the number of shipment going out to other countries, but they don't compare only for sea. They actually also compare for air. So currently, MAS have cut down a lot of routes. Therefore, our international connectivity by air has reduced tremendously compared to our other friend, which is Thailand. And you don't need to talk about it. Singapore is an international hub for air shipment as well. All right. So in terms of logistics competence, Thailand is number 32, better than us. And then tracking and tracing, Thailand is better than us. Timeliness they are also better than us. So this is overall talking about our performance, whether are we performing well or not. So seems that the indicator does not reflect the number or the ranking that we are in terms of number of containers. So the reason is because we are naturally facing the Strait of Malacca, the 1,000 kilometer Strait of Malacca. So they have no much choice but to use Malaysia as the next transshipment hub. That is because our other challenge, our other competitor possibly beating Malaysia is actually Indonesia, which also Sumatra facing the same number of kilometer of the Strait of Malacca, or in fact, they actually face longer than us. But again, the reason why they are not able to beat us is because infrastructure, they are not there yet. At one time, it's difficult to build highway in Indonesia because they need to buy over the land from other landowners, which they can refuse. But Malaysian law is compulsory acquisition. Okay. Now, if you look into our overall, then I have to show to you that in terms of infrastructure, that is our strength. Looking at the strength side, good connectivity. We have good highways. We have good sea connectivity. The air side, we have good air connectivity for ASEAN region only. Within ASEAN, luckily, we have Asia that is still holding the flag here to become the regional hub for low-cost flight. But not only that, now they have also moved in beside looking into revenue income from passenger income. They are also moving into the commercial income as well, meaning they will be buying plane that can carry cargo as well. So that is also very important. If they buy plane that cannot carry the cargo, then they cannot actually maximize the revenue for their business. So therefore, they can bring everything down to Port Klang, to KLIA, but then we have a connectivity problem from KLA to the rest of the world. So you can understand now that why Singapore is ahead of us, because Singapore Airlines goes to almost everywhere in the world, but not Malaysian Airlines. So we have actually stopped the Europe route, except going to London only. Therefore, they need to do a lot of transshipment, and that will increase the cost of air freight as well. So other than that, the weaknesses, we have plenty. We are talking about there's a mismatch, the institution and the regulatory mismatch, resulting lack of coordination, incurring unnecessary regulatory burden. We have many government agencies having their own rules and regulations that is not coordinated. So we need to back up, and then we need to coordinate this issue. Processes and procedure for for cargo clearance. So recently we have an issue on custom clearance. That one we supposed to go online, everything online, but we have not done it yet, and there's still face-to-face clearance need to be done for the custom broker. And then we are facing a bottleneck at the border. If you're coming in from Thailand, go through Dato, through the checkpoint, you will see kilometers of trucks waiting to move from Thailand into Malaysia. So that is another issue that we are facing. We are facing a tremendous acute shortage of skilled laborer, manpower, okay, and unskilled one as well. There is a lot. We still depend, if you go to a lot of warehouse for tour, you will see that there are a lot of foreign workers inside there. So that is because we are not able to find people that is in this field, in the logistics field. Low adoption of digitalization, because we do not have the economics of scale. Therefore, we are not able to digitalize our business easily, and also automate the logistics business easily. And the last one is low value chain. So Malaysia are still behind Singapore because Singapore has moved away from 3PL to 4PL, 5PL, 6PL, and now they are on 7PL as well. So Malaysia are typically still depend on manufacturers to do their logistics service. So that's why we only still do only 3PL business. Okay, so I'll give you a big view about the population size between Malaysia and Singapore. Malaysia, we have about 32 million population, whereas Singapore, 5.6 million. The logistics contribution to our GDP is 3.8%. Okay, for Malaysia, Singapore is 6.19%, or equivalent to 96 billion. Malaysia is 57 billion. Okay, total number of employee in the Malaysian logistics industry is about 667,700. Okay, whereas Singapore is about almost 200,000 employee. So with the higher number of revenue, but the number of employee at 199,000, if you divide them, you'll find that each logistician will contribute about 485,000 in terms of revenue to the industry, to the economy in Singapore. Whereas Malaysia, our logistics revenue contribution for logistics is only 85,500. So our productivity is really, really low. Okay, one Malaysian, one Singaporean is equal to 5.6 Malaysians. Okay, so the reason here is, first, I think we are talking about 3PL. We are only doing 3PL. Malaysian has always been focusing on foreign direct investment, FDI. Therefore, FDI coming to Malaysia, they bring in the factory, they have to import the raw material. The raw material will have to go to the warehouse, and then from the port to the warehouse, warehouse to the factory, factory to the warehouse again, and export again. That is typically what we are doing at the moment. Okay. Therefore, our job is low labor intensive because we are handling only one customer, and which is a manufacturer, and is low value. Whereas Singapore side, they have moved out the value chain to become a procurement center, repackaging, do some value add in their country, put in the tag made in Singapore, rebottle it, and then export it to other country. And that is what they are good in. Therefore, they are already moved out the value chain towards 7PL side. And they are now the financial and distribution hub, highly automated. Therefore, they do not need to have so many people to handle their logistics. Okay, so all high value. Okay, so now we envision with the move that we are seeing now, if Malaysian government or Malaysian to back up and say that yes, this is a very good business to be in. So by the year 2030, we need to achieve 6.5% contribution, logistics contribution to our GDP. That's our aim, okay. We are looking at the problem of human capital. We need skilled logistician in every sector. So I did a calculation. I give this topic 1 million logistician by 2030 is a vision that we are trying to achieve. So if the GDP were to grow, our Malaysian GDP grow every year about 5%. By the year 2030, we will achieve 547 billion US dollar. So if the logistics contribution to GDP is 6.5%, we are talking about 35 billion or equivalent to 147 billion revenue. Okay, so compared to just now earlier, we know that our current logistics revenue is 57 billion. So if you minus that off, you get 90 new billion revenue for the country. That is a big amount of new business for Malaysia. Okay, and if the logistics revenue contribution, logistician revenue, we were to move up our value chain instead of focusing on 3PL, we also actually change. We also move to 4PL, 5PL, 6PL. Okay, of course, we will not hit 7PL so fast, but then over the years, if we were to grow fast in terms of logistics contribution per logistician by 10% per annum, we will hit our revenue contribution to 221,760 logistics revenue per logistician. Okay, so by doing that, we divide 90 billion with this 221. We are looking at a new number of logistician that is needed in the market from now until the year 2030 is about 400,000 new logistician. Plus the current 600 plus, we are looking at a 1 million logistician by the year workforce by the year 2030. So, and if I were to combine today all the logistics graduate in our diploma from PSP, from Polytechnic Seberang Perai, Polytechnic Sultan Masya, Polytechnic Nilai, Polytechnic KK that does logistics course. I think everyone knows 1 year we have less than 3 classes. Some are 2 classes, 100 graduates, some 150, 3 classes. But for Polytechnic combined, we are talking about less than 1,000 logistician from the JPPKK side itself. Don't talk about the degree side from University, UUM, UMK, UMT, that does logistics degree, UITM, I think also not more than 1,000 per year as well. So therefore, we are less than 5,000, including certificates in logistics and other private institutions combined. So we are very far away from this target to achieve 1 million logisticians by the year 2030. Therefore, those logisticians that is watching this webinar, you know, you are definitely have a very good opportunity to work and also salary increment. Stay with your company. Make sure that you move up the corporate ladder. One day you become the top logistician in the market. All right. So with that information that we know, we did the study and whatnot. PKT also went through a transformation ourselves. We try to hold the Malaysia flag and say that we are a Malaysian logistics company. We are going to go through this journey of transformation to make sure that we are able to represent Malaysia for this journey to become the ASEAN logistics hub. So PKT have gone through this transformation journey. First, we actually started our growth through Look East policy, because if you want to learn from people, I think you better learn from the developed country. Of course, we have this Look East policy internally, joint venture with Korean and Japanese. Okay, and then if we focus in the logistics industry, we check who are dominating the industry at the moment. You will know that we found out that 14% of the manufacturer does the logistics themselves. 26% they outsource to Malaysian logistics company, and the big chunk, 60%, they outsource to multinational brand like DHL, Schenker, Siva, Kuehne+Nagel, Panalpina, Nippon Express, and all the names. So as a logistician, I think you should aware about who is your potential employer. So wherever you are driving on the road, look out for the brand of the trucks that they're moving past you, or warehouses that are on the way to the airport, what warehouse is available, and you will know what brand there is in the market as well. Okay, so in the 2008, when we did this survey, because FMCG is one of the biggest industry for logistics that use logistics services. Okay, they were 15 billion revenue at that time, and they spend typically 20% on logistics costs. Therefore, there is a 3 billion revenue just only for FMCG industry itself. And PKT wanted to capture 15% market share from this MNC portion. You can see Malaysian is 26%, the 60%. 60% are multinational customer giving to multinational logistics provider. And that is where the big margin come from. Therefore, PKT envisioned in 2008 to capture about 15% of this market share. And I have been doing this talk for many, many times and many, many years. And we are moving towards that direction. So during that time, we also do our internal evaluation about the problems why Malaysian logistics company cannot beat the multinational company. First, we are not speaking the same language. Here, we are not talking about English. Here, we are talking about MNCs. When they talk about just in time, they really mean it. They ask you to deliver at 11 o'clock. They expect you to arrive before 11 o'clock. Not very early, because then you're going to jam up the whole street queuing to go into the plant. They want you to be on time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the time of 11 o'clock. But Malaysian, typically, our style is on the way, is coming, but we end up arriving at 1 p.m. Then for the MNC manufacturer, they cannot accept this kind of attitude. They will normally put inside the contract, they will charge you a penalty, and the penalty can cost you 500 to 1,000 ringgit per minute, that kind of downtime. All right. So we need to speak the language with them. When they say GIT, it means GIT. Lack of skilled manpower. I think nationally, the MPC also recognized the most important thing that we need to solve is the manpower side. So there is not enough logistician in the market, especially when I'm talking about 2008. There isn't any degree, university or polytechnic that does logistics subject yet. But now there are many already growing and growing as well. And logistics class is getting a bit more traction. Instead of only one class, some polytechnic have 2 classes, or some even have 3 classes. Of 3 class means about 150 students. So we need to promote logistics education more. Okay. Poor knowledge and international experience. Malaysian logistics company. If you travel outside Malaysia, you happen to go to Singapore, Indonesia, or even any neighboring country, there is no Malaysian brand there. There is always international brand. You will see DHL truck, FedEx truck, UPS truck, all these trucks, but you do not see a Malaysian truck moving around there. There isn't many Malaysian company that actually move out from Malaysia. Okay, lack of awareness about environmental issue. You may ask me, what is it got to do with environmental for logistics? Well, that is this evaluation was done back in 2008 when we talk about why Malaysia is lack of understanding about sustainability, because multinational company came from Europe and US, and they are all embracing in this sustainability, green energy, green logistics, all this terminology. So when they come to Malaysia, they saw our warehouse. Oh my God, the warehouse is like A-shaped lah, very hot inside lah, all these things lah. And we are using electricity, a lot of electricity, because it's very dark inside. So all these are negative things that they perceive Malaysia are not good enough to do their business. Whereas for their other country, their warehouse is already green warehouse. So there isn't a lot of logistician. Typically, logistics company, they buy 100,000 square feet of land. They want to build 100,000 square feet of warehouse. Okay, because they want to maximize their profit. But they don't care about the environmental, whether we have trees or not and whatnot, space for people to utilize and whatnot lah. Okay, so in terms of hardware, we don't invest in ICT a lot. Okay, because we don't have the economics or skill of doing business. It's a chicken and egg situation. All right. Lack of investment in world-class infrastructure, like I say, they have no appetite because all our warehouses are very old and all using simple construction method. Okay, they never consider green, they never consider flood. A lot of things not considered. Not enough branding. There's no branding in the market. Nobody brand themselves. Okay, and no international certification. So that was what we found out, and we did the full transformation ourselves. We came up with a lot of ideas. We invest into hardware, state-of-the-art infrastructure. We start building warehouses by the name of the Ship, the Wave, and the Lighthouse. Very, very iconic, facing the Kesas Highway, and the one in Penang, the 12 Wave as well, and more other branding is coming out. So with that, iconic building itself is the marketing tool, and everybody start talking about it. Even in Penang, the 12 Wave is a gigantic warehouse, the one you see on the right-hand side. Okay, we start practice a lot of sustainable practices program. We came up with a green concept warehouse. Then after that, we implement a lot of sustainable CSR program. One of our top CSR program is ABIB, Anak Belajar Ibu Bekerja. Instead of using foreign worker, now we convert all of them into local employee, using housewife to come to the, giving them opportunity to work as well. So another one is building the capacity, focus on training. We also invested into our own college to produce logistician. Okay, and after that, we collaborate with all the polytechnic and university of Malaysia that does logistics course and help them in terms of know-how, knowledge of logistics, and allow them to come and visit us and do internship in PKT and subsequently work for PKT as well. So we also repatriate our local expert Malaysian that work for MNC, that then subsequently they transfer them to Vietnam, to China, to Indonesia, and we bring them back to Malaysia and do the knowledge transfer into our company as well. Okay, and also PKT has moved up the value chain And we also being supported by Malaysian government to be the next MNC to make sure that we can take some market share in the logistics industry as well. So these are our three of our top C level. We are Chief Marketing Officer. Kwan Eugene came from FedEx. Chief Logistics Officer came from DB Schenker, Balan. Our Chief Operating Officer came from Flextronic. Flextronic is one of the 7 PL company in this region that is very strong in Malaysia as well now. All right. Now, this is a company profile that happened to in 2014. Looking at our automotive logistics, we are actually quite strong in that. But FMB and FMCG, we are not strong. You can see the icon is very big to fill up the space. But subsequently, we have grown tremendous, about 8 to 9 times to 17 to 20 times growth on this region. You can see now all the icons are very small and fill up under no place to put already. Okay. Now, PKT also see a very good growth in revenue after we embark into this strategy. Okay. From the 2008 2009 towards the direction of 1 billion. This is a very nice growth in the logistics industry. Okay. One of the phrases that I use is we can't create world-class employees in a third world environment. So in order for us to do that, we such a huge growth and able to retain people in this industry is we changed our working environment. So PKT create our own working culture. We started off with a healthy working culture. If you come to our office, you can see nice gym here. And the environment is a happy working environment, very googly. Every one of our pantry is like a Google environment. And also we create honesty working culture here, hard working culture, and humble as well. Okay, so that's where with this culture, then you can actually grow the company. Okay, and we are also now all of our C level also contribute to the to the public universities as well, public institution. So I'm also adjunct professor for USM, UMK, UUM, and UOC. And also my chief marketing officer is adjunct professor for UPM, and chief technical officer adjunct professor for UMP. So we are continually to share our knowledge with all the public university through various kind of collaboration. We do not need to collaborate only on talking about, say for example, UPM. So UPM do not have a logistics course, but they have computer science and programming. So they are now helping us to develop the e-commerce platform for us to sell car spare part online, right? Because PKT is an automotive logistics specialist. So we have a lot of car spare parts in our warehouse, and we want to move up the value chain to help our customer to sell the spare part online, digitalizing their business, because by themselves, they do not have the economics of scale. Since we are now carrying about 6-7 brand of spare parts here, we help them to do it via our own platform, developed together with UPM. Okay, and whereas for Bala here, because the engineering department, I think industrial management department, wanted to have a minor in logistics or supply chain. Therefore, they get our help. We are now helping them to come up with a course for the subject for their postgraduate to study, engineering postgraduate to study as a minor in this supply chain management as well. And he is also giving lectures over there. All right. So this is the program that we have done with the universities. So in terms of our award-winning CSR program, our CSR program is done. Subsequently, every year, McDonald's is our customer. Their manufacturing arm of McDonald's asks us, can you submit all your CSR program? So every year we submit our program, and every year we get an award from them. So our signature award, three big program here. We call it the ABIP program, Anak Belajar Ibu Bekerja, Smart Tracker program. or the Jom Bekerja Sambil Belajar program. Okay, so ABIB program is to allow housewife to come back to work by making it flexible to them. Our working hour for ABIBs start from 8:30, finish at 12:30, 4 hours, and start from 1:30, finish at 5:30, 4 hours. Either they take morning shift or afternoon shift, then they will earn about 35 ringgit per shift. Okay, or they can work double shift. So those mothers who have children who study in the morning, they will come in the morning to work. When the afternoon, they go and pick up the children and they stay at home, cook and take care of the family. So that with that flexi working hours, then we allow housewives to come back to work, and every Friday they will withdraw their salary, and that will make them happy because they have pocket money also now. Okay, Jom Bekerja Sambil Belajar is to allow. I think this is also in collaboration with PSB as well. You have a campus industry, and now we are reactivating back JBSB. For those people who are listening here, if you are interested in JBSB, please go back to your lecturers for logistics and say, I would like to enroll into this JBSB program. So during your semester break, instead of enjoying lepaking, holidaying here and there, you can spend your time learning about your industry, the subject of your study, and gain some money as well. The pay is similar to ABIB, a morning shift or afternoon shift, 35 ringgit per shift or 4 hours saja. Okay. And then the Smart Tracker program is a program that we promote. If some graduate during the pandemic do not mind to become a Grab driver, why not you consider remaining in the logistics industry by being a Smart Tracker? Because Smart Tracker programs allow you to drive trucks as well, but we do not say that this is your future. What happened is you get the freedom of traveling to understand what is distribution all about. Smart Tracker program, during your internship time, we train you for the 6 months how to do defensive driving, how to gain a license, work together with another truck drivers. We will send you for the smaller trucks, probably the 3-tonner, for distribution to the Family Mart operation. So Family Mart, you're interesting to see, in the Family Mart store, there are 2,000 over items. How did this item get into the store? And how do you keep the temperature, and how do you replenish the stock and whatnot? So a lot of things you will learn being a Smart Tracker, because you will be the person that pull the trolley into the shop, and how you communicate with the shop side and whatnot. Okay, so Smart Tracker program is ongoing. If you are interested, please register with your PIC, and Penang program start in Penang. The one in Central will be done over here in Shah Alam. Okay. And recently, the government also realized Smart Tracker program is very unique and a new way of creating jobs, and very sustainable. Therefore, they have given us 100. We have trained 100 logisticians together with UUM, and placed them into the industry already. Okay. Now we also came up with the latest to help those who retire early, those people who retire early and still think you can contribute to the economy of Malaysia. Don't waste your time doing other things. You can come and join our program. It's called Jom Bersara Secara Sambilan. So you will earn part-time wages as well. This program, I saw the Japanese is doing it. So you go to Japan, if you happen to do driving, you'll find that all the toll booths are all retiree working there, and they can speak good English, meaning they came from MNC and they don't mind to keep themselves active by working in warehouses and even the tolls and whatnot. Okay, so a lot of other initiatives in place. We also have a very green warehouse. The 12th, for your information, won the global FIAPSI, the Oscar of property award. We won a global award, the 12th, because inside there is a Japanese garden, and also inside the Japanese garden we also have a paddy field. So that is really unique. And the 12th have a solar car park, okay, and a very green environment inside. So for those students who have not visited the 12 wave, please do so, because the opportunity here is PSB and us, collaborative partners. Anytime you also have an office here, a campus in the industrial office in the 12 wave. So do take the lecturers, please bring the students for a tour to the 12 wave. It's a world class warehouse, award-winning warehouse, and natural lighting in the warehouses. This is our water recycling system. We use the rainwater, harvest it, and use it in our toilets as well as for landscaping as well. Okay. So another small habit that we have if you come to our campus, you realize that there is a lot of mop here and there, and then we actually do self-cleaning as well. That is a way to make sure that we don't use a lot of toilet paper, okay, unnecessarily. Okay. So then a lot of people in the society is asking us, so you have a very unique growth methods. What formula are you using? So we'd like to explain to you. I think for those people in the university level, they will know about this quadruple helix, triple helix, quadruple helix, and quintuple helix model. So PKT is embarking into this quintuple helix model. Between the industry, we are the industry, we are collaborating with the government and also the university, and not forgetting the society surrounding us and also the environmental impact. As we grow, we don't forget about environmental as well. Okay, so this is our latest collaboration with UUM. Me and a team of 2 teams actually. I only showcase one of them. This is our team that does logistics sustainable performance framework to challenge the logistics performance index created by the World Bank. Not to say challenge, but to improve that version that only talk about performance, but no eco strategy and sustainable practices. So among these few of professors, we lecturers, researchers, we came out with a new way to create this Mampan Index, Sustainability Index, okay, so that our Malaysian logistics industry will grow with environmental and sustainability in mind, rather than focus on growth only, all right? Because I have seen the formula is working for me. I get a lot of multinational company using us because they like our CSR program, they like our green warehouse. Therefore, I say that we need to put this into writing. Therefore, we are coming up with this logistics sustainability performance index. Okay. So this is a very nice formula, a nice index, and also logistics productivity nexus has also embraced this and asked them to continue to do survey to create this Mampan index. Okay. So finishing my talk here, I would like to end my talk by telling you that PKT's mission statement is to be a socially responsible company, providing logistics services by utilizing local human resources, building environmentally friendly warehouses, open engagement with the communities, inspire other businesses to provide positive impact to people and communities through its activity. Okay, with that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dato Sri. One of the most important things or key takeaways that I get from your keynote is growth, where you came up with a formula that being environmentally friendly as well as being sustainable. These are such great formula that every businesses has to follow. Thank you very much once again, Dato Sri. Not only Dato Sri is very much into logistics in terms of business, but his CSR initiatives and green initiatives that he's currently applying in his business premises is highly commendable. One of the things that I also paid attention to are, particularly for the students, you have to learn from the developed countries, as well as identifying who is currently dominating the field. And as what Dato Sri mentioned, 60% of the MNC logistics, and those could be your potential employer. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for Dato Sri for his keynote session.
Yep. So we still have about 10 minutes. You want to do a Q&A? Maybe answer some questions. Is that a Q&A?
Right. Yes, Doctor. We have a question in the meeting chat. Can I address that question to you now? Right. The question is there any plan for PKT Logistics to be listed as public listed company in Bursa, Malaysia?
I think I lost the moderator. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dato Sri. Yes, I can hear you.
Do a Q&A, maybe some questions that I can read here from the chat group.
Yes.
Is there any plan for PKT to be listed as a public listed company? Very interesting. I want to tell you this. When you embark into social responsibility, green, and all these things, a lot of innovation we put in place, including the design of the warehouse itself. So actually, we attract a lot of potential investors. Therefore, every time when I decided to list the company, I would have an investment bank knocking on my door saying that there is a potential investor that want to take up the whole amount of shares that you want to list. So then you do not need to list. So therefore, I tell them, unless these potential investors will create synergy for the company, that means by them coming in, our company will grow even bigger. And if you read the newspaper, if you Google for us, MOL, Mitsui O.S.K. Line Japan, actually owns 35% of PKT shares. So therefore, we do not need to go listing at that time in 2017. But again, we are still now pursuing to list only our property division. The number of property that we have is a lot in Malaysia. So now we are developing a new logistics hub in Kulim. We call it Kulim Logistics Hub, for your information. And we are building a port, inland port, at the border between Malaysia and Thailand. Remember, I told you about the long queue, 4 kilometers at least at Danok to come into Malaysia. We are taking the lead, holding the Malaysian flag to solve that problem now by building a port at Bukit Kayu Hitam. So there will be another iconic building that will be developed over there, and to solve that issue for not really for Malaysia for us anymore. It's more like looking to solve that problems for Malaysian as government as well. Okay. Is there any other question? So we're going to list our property arm soon, maybe next year. Okay. What is the other question? What should I do if I'm interested for LI stand for what? Industrial attachment.
Yes, correct. Latihan industry. That's
internship
right.
for PKT. Talk to your lecturer.
Yes.
Talk to your lecturer, guys. Don't write to me. Talk to lecturer. I don't have time to reply everybody. For the lecturers, I would tell for anybody in PSP that does logistics, if you want to do logistics, and actually other people who want to do others, we can do it. Other job we can consider as well, like IT job and HR job and whatnot. But mainly for logistics, I can guarantee you all of you will get a job. So for internship, all right, in the 12th wave. You can do in 12th wave, or you can do at the Shah Alam headquarters here. Okay. Why you choose ship for your building? Because I'm in the logistics industry. The biggest thing about logistics is shipping business. Ship is the highest volume. Like I explained from you at the beginning, 32 million, 38 million from Singapore, Malaysia, 20 over million TUs. These are all moving by ship. So when an architect asked me for the first iconic building you want to build, what do you want to build? So I say ship. So he built it, look like a ship, but it's not a ship from side elevation. The second one automatically become the wave. Then the third one become the lighthouse. So this is the one in Shah Alam. So 3 iconic building talking to each other architecturally. So for those people in the architect industry, they are also very interested in how we came about an idea creating 3 buildings that can talk to each other. The ship is always in the sea under the heavy waves, looking for the lighthouse to come to shore. Okay, so this is the reason why it's called the ship. Okay. Thank you. So if there's no more question, MC, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dato. So it was such a great session to just listen to what you have been doing. Thank you very much for sharing all these insights, all these incredible insights, which I'm sure all of our participants would definitely learn and take away something from the session. Thank you very much once again. Right, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the second keynote speaker today is a great privilege. She is a woman of virtue and is known for her work in sustainable campus ecosystem. And her contribution to the logistics industry is immense. She's an active speaker for promoting logistics in research and consultations, and has also completed 5 national research projects. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Ts.Dr. Amy Azura binti A.Jalil. Dr. Amy is a senior lecturer and has 20 years of experience in higher education. She pursued Bachelor in Science of Business in Business Administration from Oklahoma City University, the USA, and graduated with Masters in Logistics Management from Sydney University, Australia, and gained her doctoral degree in management from the University of Hull, the UK. Currently, Dr. Amy is a chief managing editor for the Journal of Technology and Operation Management. She has published numerous journal articles and conference papers. Her research interests include logistics and supply chain that scope into Islamic practices in supply chain, urbanization, humanitarian, modern-day slavery, and sustainability. She is a member of Industrial Engineering and Operations Management Society, Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and International Solid Waste Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ts.Dr. Amy Azura binti A.Jalil.
Good morning, Gayatri, right? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you can hear me, everyone.
Clear, crystal clear, doctor. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for invited me for this session and very eloquently presented about myself. I'm very appreciated for this moment because the themes of what you are sharing with us is a spot on, and it is a much needed theme in the logistic and supply chain sector. One of the reasons I think it's been talking and discussed thoroughly, I can say, by our Dato Seri, immersely in regards to how the practitioner, how the industry goes about in regards to logistic and supply chain challenges, not just because of the COVID, but before COVID as well. It is something that is been looked upon and been discussed upon critically. Anyway, I think I already shared. I hope all of you can see my slides.
Yes, doctor, we can see your slides.
All right. So me, myself, I'm a technologist from MBOT. And of course, my focus are basically on academic matters and as well as research that focus on logistics and supply chain. And I hope that I'm not going to be something that is very dry because it is an academic perspective in that sense, but I would like to share in the sense of applied. So basically my outline is I always like to, I don't want to look that logistics is very dry. It looks like more on that you can relate to in your daily life. So basically first I will talk about the scenario in regards what is happening right now or past or present or future. And then we talk about the work have been done in academic perspective. And the alignment and the playbook actually is relate to what have been address the issues and challenges in regards to logistic and supply chain. And then last but not least, the reflection. In regards to the alignment and the playbook, actually interesting enough, it related what the PKT having go through in regards to the logistic and supply chain challenges, and what are the issues they address, and then how they what we call go beyond that challenges, think out of the box. That's why Dato have mentioned in regards the quadruple helix, they come about as the last conclusion remarks. All right, so basically, I think I don't want to talk really in depth, but I know all of you aware in regards to what happened in the global supply chain. Basically, all of you may be faced, I think during the pandemic started from the end of the year of 2019, and then we go straight to 2022, which is we become endemic. Anyway, during that in that pandemic situation, we face a lot of disruption, and all of you are the end user, the one that require services, require the product, and you see there's a lot of disruption that you what we call experience firsthand. For example, the low in stock or out of stock of sanitizers, what else, the mask, and then in US and most of the Europes, the out stock of the toilet rolls, and it become issue not just in the household scale, but the people in the parliament are talking about that. So this is a serious global supply chain disruption. And then another thing that 5 billion Homo sapien, all of us have internet access. And then robots are replacing us in many labor-intensive environment. And then 3D printing and hyperloop as a new transportation, and the boring tunnel. So I would like all of you just put in the chat whether you are aware or you are familiar with 3D printing or hyperloop or boring tunnel. If you're not, you just put there, what is boring tunnel, what is hyperloop, what is 3D printing. Of course, robots, I think most of you well aware, but we are talking robots that is a part of logistic innovation and technology. I would like to see first the chats. Can I see that some of you said whether you have aware? Anyone, can you put there that you are very familiar with the robots, with the 3D printing and hyperloop or boring tunnel? Just put there that you are familiar. Okay, we move on to the logistic transradar. Okay, this is the most important. I always keep close with DHL because they have good R&D team, and they are really keep in hand what is happening surrounded. And I hope all of you, regardless who you are, whether you are going to the academic or whether you are going to the industry, this is actually a good resources or reference what you need to know that is happening in logistic and supply chain sector. And I found out that DHL are spot on in regards to the changes, and it affects how it mirrored what is happening now in Malaysia. So this is the thing that I think all the graduates, regardless what level you are, that you have to be aware what is the skills are required, as you can refer or refresh your memory in regards to Dato's representation that they by 2030 or 2050, the increase of number of logisticians are required in the industry, not just logistic, but mainly in the industry. Each company required one logistician. So this is a cry for help. Why it is important for all of you to prepare yourself, regardless whether you are from accounting, from operation management, even from the engineering side. You have to understand what are the ecosystem that is evolved. And as you can see, not being biased, that all of you that choose logistic, you are in the right track, alhamdulillah. But if you're not, it's okay, because some of the innovation or the technology or the trend also relevant, as long that you have a bit sense of knowing what is logistic, what is supply chain management. Okay, so I'm talking about that 5 billion, 50.1 billion are connected. So this is been produced by one of KPMG a consultant. 50.1 billion already connected, and I presume is higher than this number because this is projected before 2020. Now we are in 2022, and during pandemic that people are more online, more immersive in the e-commerce system, and anything that is online, you are much more aware, much more adaptive, and some of us are even adopted that kind of lifestyle, meaning that everything, whatever you use, you are using e-commerce to buy your daily needs, your daily entertainments, your resources. You go through e-commerce compared to going to brick and mortar platform. So this is quite a change than before. So what when people say that it is a new normal, I agree, because before this people a bit reluctant to be connected. Now people are much more comfortable, but of course there is a sense of cautious that we need to emphasize on, because cybersecurity it actually is important, that that you have to be aware when we are closely connected in using the internet. So these is the issues or the challenges that need to be faced by not just by the businesses, but as well as individuals. So basically, are we ready for being exposed, being vulnerable on the super internet highways? All right, so basically, again, I always, I think it's interesting that my presentation actually, the narrative is quite similar to Dato's tree, because what he dealt, what he faced, and what he's trying to overcome are, I can make a good summary that basically what he did, he wanted to ensure that it's a holistic decision making in regards to changes or solution in regards to logistic and supply chain. And he also talking about the technology adoption or adaptation in regards to the logistic and the supply chain. And as well, he talks about the community involvement, which again talking about connected community. So basically, in regards to the logistic industry and as well the academic perspective, we never go away. They always align. The narrative is always the same. We wanted the holistic decision, meaning that we don't want because we want to avoid disruption. We want to have the highly optimized movement from point of origin to point consumption. And I always say it's not until the point of consumption, because when we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about not just from point of origin to point of consumption, but back to the point of origin, meaning that we also thinking where is the waste, where is the returns, where is the what we call defective item going back to the point of origin. We don't want to throw them away. It have to be sustainable. How we channel our end use or our waste or our return in a sustainable manner. Okay, first part, I talk about the work. So basically, research on logistics and supply chain management. I don't want to in detail what are the research, but what are actually been done. Here I use Elsevier, which is a renowned database in regards to research topics that they are concerned. In regards to the problems or the issue that is happened in academic world as well as in industrial world. As you can see, this is a top rank, top 1 to top 10, from number 1, the rank 1 until the rank 10. As you can see, the narrative is actually related to logistics and transport, the bigger picture, the supply chain itself. And it is concerned on the green and the sustainability. So as you can see, that most of this narrative is related to us, the logistic and the supply chain. And the integrity part is what are the innovation, what are the technology that help to improve the efficiency, the effectiveness, and help to reduce the environmental impact. So as I said, you are in the right track in getting the right diploma or the right degree or the right area. And basically, you have to seek what are the things that you need to address, the thing that you have to think out of the box. What can I do to improve the current logistics situation, the current issues, the current environmental impact in regards to logistical problem or the supply chain disruption? Are we researching the right topic or the right phenomenon? Okay, the academic perspective here, logistics is very multidisciplinary. So we are, as I say, I don't want to look this very dry, so academic, but I want to make sure that you look it as a reality base. Usually that we think that when we're talking about academic is theory centered. And then I like one of the what we call the guru or the seminal paper or the first academia that touched on logistics is Professor Carter. He said the maturation of the supply chain management discipline. In his word, that basically logistics and supply chain always derive their theories from the practitioner world. So basically, supply chain and logistics cannot go away from what are real world problems, what are the logistical issues and challenges, rather looking at the purely at academic practice or purely at theory based. We are against that actually. We are more concerned what is happening in the real world and what we can do as academicians in solving that kind of problem. So this is why, as I said, we cannot make it dry. We have to make it organic, that logistic and a supply chain sector, and also in regards to academic perspective have to go in tandem, in integration in regards solving a real world problem. So what lenses we use? First, we need to be clear. We are not solving hashtag world problem. But as you can see, again, I'm relating what Dato Sri said in regards to Bukit Kayu Hitam, in regards to what happening in logistic hub in ASEAN, why Malaysia is not striving at the first, why we are in 2-digit. This is the thing that we need to understand, that we have to look one by one. So this is the most interesting part when from practitioner perspective, from Dato Sri perspective, which is very important for the academia like me in regards to understand. So we cannot solve world problem. We cannot explore that we cannot understand. We are describing the gap to build the conceptual framework. So you have to look back at what Dato did just now, how he come out with the quintuple helix framework. So this is interesting. And I related this kind of perspective, what we call problematization perspective, which derived from Professor Wong. He is Malaysian. He's a professor in Leeds Business School. He's one of my mentor. I'm quite proud because I associated with him because he is from Malaysia. So he come out this kind of perspective that related to, we cannot see 100% in theory base. We have to look at what is happening out there in the supply chain, in the logistic, and then we have to address that. So that is what made me excited, that what Dato Sri said is very in tandem what the academic feels and try to address. So what are the activities that should us in academic look at as the problematization perspective? If we have to observe what is the problem, and then we look at the literature, or another word, what is the past research, what is the past study, and then try to find the solution to that practical problems. And then idea generation involve many, I can say, stakeholders, and then justify, and last but not least, you have the novel understanding. Again, related to Dato Sri's presentation just now. Actually, unconsciously, he is doing this problematization perspective. He is doing how the practitioner works in looking at the problem, try to find a practical solution, and last but not least, at the end of the day, he has the solution, which is what we call the novel understanding in regards to academic perspective. So as I can say that it enlightened, so meaning that you have seen that academic, I'm talking only in regards to logistics and supply chain, that you cannot work in the silos of just theoretical base. You have to make sure that you relate what are the real world issues in your study or in your research, and address that issues, solve that problem, and then you get the greatest high impact. I also say in my classes or in for other conferences that logistics and supply chain does not care other than efficiency, effectiveness, and environmentally. So the core thing at the end of the day, we have high efficiency in our movement, in our output, and then we have very high cost effectiveness, and we ensure that our supply chain is environmentally conscious. So this is the most simplified. We are, as I said, we are not solving the world problem. We are looking at the problem one at a time. So now the enlightenment part. So I want to share a bit, since I already give example, because Dato's representation in regards to PKT, how they look at the world problem, how they address the issue, actually is the alignment. But I did as well in regards one of the practical solution that been done. I presented also a keynote session in Unicos 2020 in regard how one of the reverse logistic have addressed pharmaceutical waste in pandemic situation. So I'm not going to be detailed because I already give you the real world problem based on Dato's presentation. But I would like to give you the other perspective in regards to how one of the logistic I can say activities that helps to mitigate pharmaceutical waste. All right, so as you can see, COVID-19 pandemic have very high impact in regards to the high impact, not positively, but negatively. It covered from SDG 1 up to SDG 17. And it is a lot, and a lot to take and a lot to address. And everybody is unhappy. As you can see, I took from Osdeberg et al. 2016. As you can see, our region are having detected waste from pharmaceutical at the water and the groundwater or drinking water globally. So please do not drink a tap water because we are yellow, mean we are sort of towards contaminated water. So this is the thing that is a concern. Basically, from pandemic situation to endemic situation. So we need to change. So what we understand, we have to use a sound reverse logistic management. So we have to rethink how the pharmaceutical waste are going to our system, and then how we control them not going to our groundwater. So this is solution in regards to pharmaceutical waste using a logistic activity, which is reverse logistic. So I can share with you, I want to, as I said, I don't want to talk in detail that the most important aspect when you want to solve a problem, you have to have the right infrastructure, the right facilities, and then you have to ensure your household, your end user understand their roles, understand their position, understand what they need to contribute to ensure the pharmaceutical waste never goes to groundwater. So I relate to my own theory, which is symbiosis perspective theory in regards to performance. So meaning that when you want to achieve high performance, regardless whether you want to increase recycling rate or you want to increase your logistic performance, you have to ensure that your situational factor and your personal factor are there. So what is situational factor? When we're talking about industry, we're talking about what Dato Sri just now said, infrastructure, facility, the right talents, the right investor. So these are the key points that make us striving to make us as a champion. So we have to ensure that thing is there. Why we are considered much more attractive from Thailand, from Vietnam, or from Indonesia. The traffic management, our highway is superb, our connectivity is very high. So this is, we call it situational factor. The more able you are to improve your efficiency level from one point or one choke point to another choke point, it means you are address the issues, you address the problem. So as I can say, I totally agree with Dato Sri. We cannot be complacent. We have to strive. We have to make sure that we are much more better than other countries in regards to logistic and supply chain activities. All right, we move on to next. I don't know why it is on hold. Is the slide already moved?
Not yet, Doctor. We are still seeing reverse logistics.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's moving now. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, so this is the conclusion of the disruption because of COVID-19, and most of them are related to logistic and supply chain readiness. So as you can see, the disruption most often affects supply rather than demand. So as in typical disruption, but now when we're talking about COVID-19, is affect the demand first, then the possible supply. Of course, before this, no one in their right mind, I can say in logical mind, they need to buy face masks. Never in your grocery or your shopping list that is a face mask. The face mask, right, everyone? Now you are different. The way you are thinking right now when you buy some stuff is always related to the hygiene factor, related to cleanliness right now. So there is a change on the demand, and then of course possibly the supply. So the way of the disruption due to COVID-19 really impacting the decision, the holistic decision in the whole supply chain. So meaning that Malaysia, any company that in Malaysia, basically the local company or global company, you have to be ready. You have to prepare yourself in regards to the disruption. And of course, for the talent, what to do. So when I choose problematization perspective by Professor Wong just now, I can see is so relevant to the industry because how presented by Dato Sri is about how we how we solve that problem. So basically what to do. So meaning that we already know what is happening is a lesson learned. And then the key point here, any supply chain have to adopt the concept of risk management. And then for all of you as the talent or the graduates that into logistic and supply chain, you have to have that that skill, risk assessment skill. So meaning that you look at the problem, try to find the solution. So most of the lecturer, I encourage you, do a lot of case study. Any a small case study, even a problem in a storage system, or a problem how to maneuver inventory within one small confined space. So all of the, even though it's a very small problem, you have to look for the solution. This encourage the student to understand the real case problem. And this is the one that I want to share with you, is the most basic risk management step that you can use in your class, and the graduates can help to practice in regards of the articulation, the thinking, how to solve logistic problem, how to solve the supply chain problem. So I will not talk more because I already summarized this. So the playbook part is, you have this type of table. When you are understanding the problem, you have to know what are the impact. So you can label the impact. That's why I say the playbook, the manual. When you understand the disruption, whether they are have A impact, B impact, C impact, and so on, to the very most problematic severe impact. The case of the out of stock face mask, out of stock of recently about the ayam, the chicken, the poultry. All of these are issues, and then how to go about. So we cannot use the guerrilla method anymore. We have to have a built-in risk assessment, risk strategy, in order to address all the issues. This is how you try to understand the risk assessment process, and this is the thing that related again to the company, meaning the playbook is the manual. So you have to identify the risk, identify the problem, analyze and evaluate. So this is again, as I said, coincide with Dato's three, how he looks at it and how he implement it in his company. So this is the strategy, whether you want to accept the risk, avoid the risk, transfer the risk, or reduce the risk, and then hash the risk. So this is just an example how you already identify, you already analyze, and then what are your strategy. This is considered very important in order for your company to be prepared, ready for any disruption. Last but not least, monitoring. So I'm a bit in regards to out of the box, because most people, we just solve problem. For me, if you want to be A-star student, or you want to go beyond your comfort zone, when you try to find a new solution, you have to rethink, you have to reimagine, you have to reinvent. The 3 RE is very important, because you have to make sure is beyond, is innovative, and it is focuses on the trend. Back to the DHL slide, it means how DHL looks at the supply chain and logistic ecosystem. They don't look as a short-term solution. They look at the long-term solution. That's why you need to rethink what you have, what skill did you have, what you are studying, is it just enough, or you want more? So basically, when you do your case study, your solution should be out of the box as well as innovative, and then have a bit of technology. And one of the most important thing, it should be a closed loop strategy, meaning go back to the first step. So meaning that you always monitor at the closed loop perspective rather than linear. You always try to continuously improve your current situation. And last but not least, the reflection part, you have to learn the lesson learned for my presentation. I hope that you take back that logistics is not a dry academic area. It is interdisciplinary characteristic, meaning that they have academic perspective, they also have a practitioner perspective, meaning that there are sense-making logistic and supply chain theorization, meaning we blend both world, practitioner world as well academic world. And then what evolution of technology is in tandem with the evolution of business trend, meaning technology go hand in hand with logistics. So why e-hailing is so successful now due to technology adoption. Why we have e-commerce, we have a very close network with our logistics service provider. All these small packaging couriers that help in order to provide door-to-door services or last mile services. So we cannot say, oh, technology make us better. No, the in tandem, meaning work together, the integration between technology and logistics are very important. And last but not least, we need to explore logistic and supply chain research in problematization perspective, because it works. It works for PKT. I think it will works for any industry, because when you blend both worlds, you have that very sustainable solution. Last but not least, we need to focus on what appear to be important to know, what we understand about it, and what we can do to understand it better. Shamana et al. 2009, paragraph line 343. So all of these, I hope you can take away and try to understand what it meant by blended from academic perspective and the practitioner perspective. With that, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Gayatri.
Right, thank you very much, Dr. Amy. We are truly grateful. Your session is insightful, it's information-packed, and I think the great thing, I'm sure that many of these students would enjoy listening to you, are all the concrete examples that you gave to our students. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me iterate that a better way to look at logistics and supply chain research is in problematization perspective. And just like what Dr. Amy mentioned, that we should address what happens in the logistics field and try to relate the world issues in your research. And I'm sure, Dr. Amy, that all of our students are now more prepared to embark their journey, especially on research. So thank you very much, Dr. Amy. Once again, we're truly grateful to have you here and to actually listen to you. You have been inspiring. Thank you very much, Doctor.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of the keynote session of CTVETriLS'22. And I welcome the presenters and participants for the parallel session of the conference, which will begin at 10:45 a.m. Now, just a little reminder for all the participants who are still in the session, please ensure that you click on the attendance link to record the attendance and a link for the certificate of participation for today's keynote session. Right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Gayatri Kandeya signing off. Have a great conference. Thank you.